Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Empower You 2 podcast. Season 3. Super excited. I am your girl, Natasha Paris, your resident therapist, as well as your empowerment strategist. And I will be your guide as you journey through this episode, because what I want to do is give you something that will empower you, that will inspire you, that will motivate you to becoming the best version of yourself. Yes. And so with that said, I want you to do 3 things. I want you to go to your favorite platform and hit that 5-star button, because let me tell you, this episode that you're about to listen to is going to be fire. It's going to really support your growth and help you understand that some of the things that you may be doing may not be productive. However, I have some potential solutions that can really change the trajectory of your life. So automatically, in advance, I want you to hit that 5-star button on your favorite platform. Second thing is, I want you to share this podcast. Share this podcast with someone that you know. Maybe you don't know them. Share this podcast, because guess what? Sharing is caring. And third, I want to hear from you. If this podcast or this particular upcoming episode has resonated for you or with you, I want you to do something for me. I want you to comment. I want to hear from you. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram, Natasha Paris 4, the number 4, the letter U, and or Facebook, Natasha Paris St. Amand, Empower You 2 podcast. And of course, we have our nonprofit organization, Girls Unapologetically Reaching Levels Successfully. So if you ever want to donate, we are here because we are inspiring not just women, not just men, but we are inspiring girls around not just the country, but around the world to becoming the best versions of themselves. So go to supportgirls, GURLS.org if you want to donate. So with that said, let's get ready, because this upcoming episode is about to change your life. You ready? Let's go. Hey, how are you guys? Oh my goodness, it's always a pleasure to come before you and share some thoughts, share some messages, and of course, give you some recommendations that could potentially change the trajectory of your life. So join me as we jump right into episode 170, season 3. Can you believe it? 170 episodes, season 3. So our topic for today is how to love others without sacrificing yourself. I'm going to say that again. How to love others without sacrificing yourself. My friends, too often, many people, especially caregivers, partners, parents, and also leaders, struggle with balancing love for others while maintaining their own identity, giving themselves the energy that they need, and of course, keeping themselves stable and balanced as it relates to their mental health. And so as your guide, Natasha Paris, your resident therapist, as well as the empowerment strategist, I'm going to help you through this journey, because I want you to know that supporting and loving others does not mean that you sacrifice yourself. You are not nailing yourself to the cross for the benefit of others. Okay, so as a licensed clinician, I have provided therapy for many thousands and thousands of people over the past 26 years across several different cities and countries. And what I've come to realize is that oftentimes there are people who want to help others, but they sacrifice their well-being. I had a young lady that came into my office and she talked about caring for her mother. And she shared how much her mother meant to her and that it was important for her to take care of her mother as she was aging, and also she had dementia. And for those who don't know, dementia is a really disheartening and debilitating disease. And what she found herself doing was not sleeping, hardly eating, really constantly being on edge because she wasn't sure what would happen or what her day would look like. And so oftentimes she felt really unstable emotionally because she was giving so much to her mother that she could not manage taking care of herself. What I know for sure is that if you are an empath like me, you want to care for people, you feel people's emotions, you're quite sensitive to people's needs, and is at that time that you find yourself balancing the act of really towing that line between caring for that loved one and loving yourself. So let's talk about this, because the key phrase here is love should expand you, not erase you. Oh my goodness. I'm going to say that again. Love should always expand you and never erase you. What does that mean? Come on now, think about it. Love should not erase you. It should make you more loving. It should allow you to not just love more people, but to love yourself much more. And so let's talk about some points, some things that you could possibly do to create that nice balance between taking care of those you love, protecting those you love, loving those you love, while maintaining your own identity, energy, and mental health. Okay, so let's talk about this. The myth of self-sacrifice. Let's talk about it. Okay, my friends, there are some cultural expectations. For those who don't know, I was born in Brooklyn to Haitian immigrants. And coming from Haiti, the Caribbean island, first independent republic, Black republic. Don't let me spit some knowledge, okay? All right, so with that said, there were constant messages in my family about how it was important for you to give everything to your family, to your children. And of course, when you're giving everything to your family and your children, what is there that's left for you? Right. So there are cultural messages that were passed down to me as first generation here in the States. And you kind of have that in the back of your mind. I want you to, my friends, to think of some of those messages that have been passed down to you, right? That you have to do it all and you can't ask for help. That can be really exhausting. Okay. And so one of the things that I know for sure is that if you are over sacrificing, that can lead to resentment, burnout, and of course, unhealthy relationships, because you begin to feel a sense of resentment towards the person you're caring for or the person that you're supporting or loving, because you feel it's their fault that they need help and it is their fault that you're giving it. Come on now. Let's talk about it, right? That can be a lot. Okay. So as I said before, loving should always expand you, not erase you. And so oftentimes there are cultural messages that are being shared, passed down to you, and you feel this sense of obligation to do so much, and you sacrifice your well-being. Come on now, put it in the comments. Hit that 5-star button if this is resonating for you. Because what I know for sure is that I can relate. I can relate. And I had to put a stop to it. I really did. And I want to share with you some of the things that I did. I mean, I didn't do it as much as some others because there are people caring for ill parents. There are people caring for a spouse. There are people who are sacrificing everything for their children. I didn't get to that place, but I know what sacrifice looks like. So what are the recommendations? One thing I want you to understand is boundaries, the role of boundaries, right? Boundaries are not walls, but they are healthy guidelines. It's important for you to have a healthy guideline, meaning you can say no without feeling guilty. You know, in my last couple of episodes, way back in the 51, episode 51, 52, 57, I talked about how you should fall in love with the word no. No, thank you. No, not this time. No, it's okay. No, like fall in love with the word no. Because if you don't, you will be walking over yourself. Like literally, you're walking on yourself. Okay. Communicate your needs. That's another part of boundaries. Being in a place where you set boundaries, communicating your needs clearly. When someone asks, are you okay? Say, right now, I'm not okay. As opposed to, no, I'm fine. No, well, I don't know. No, you need to express yourself and say what you want. You can't expect the other person on the receiving end to know what you want. They can't read your mind. Another is allowing others to take responsibility for their own growth. I'm going to say that again. Allowing others to take responsibility for their own growth. I had a woman come into my office and she talked about how she was tired of taking care of her men. And I said, okay, well, what does that mean? She said she always found herself being the nurse and surgeon to the men that she dated. She always was attracted to taking care of men who were unemployed and making sure they had it together, or a man that really was emotionally needy and she was there for them. And she talked about how exhausting it was for her. And she started resenting them. But yet she continued that cycle of looking for the little puppy, right? The little puppy in the road that needed help. And that was how she showed her love. And so we talked about how she needed to set boundaries. And of course, prior to even talking about boundaries, why did she feel she had to be the surgeon? Why did she feel she had to be the rescuer? What was it in her life that she was compensating for? Come on now, those are real conversations. My friends, now that we've talked about what boundaries look like as it relates to loving others without sacrificing yourself, let's redefine what love looks like. Because it's important for us to understand that there has to be a level of balance when giving and receiving. It's important for you to understand that giving love is not a one-way street. It is not you consistently giving of yourself and not expecting anything back in return. It's a two-way street, my friends. In addition, what we always have to remember is that when we give love, we should not sacrifice our self-respect. Because really, self-respect is the foundation of a healthy relationship. You cannot ask to have a healthy relationship with someone when you're giving, but yet you are receiving lack of respect, lack of love, lack of sensitivity. That just doesn't make sense. So what ends up happening is you are giving to the point where you are depleted and you begin to feel this level of resentment. So it's important for you to understand that when you give, you should not sacrifice your own well-being. You should always understand that self-respect in love is very, very important. What I want you to do, my friends, really, if you are caring for a loved one, if you are taking care of a family member, if you are doing those things that may feel like you're not getting anything back, let's do a basic check-in, okay? You gonna do this with me? Okay. I want you to ask yourself authentically, ask yourself this question. Am I over giving? Am I showing up as my true self? Ask yourself. Okay? Because if you answered no, okay, then you're good. But if you answered yes, I'm over giving, and no, I'm not showing up authentically, then there's a problem. Okay. And then also what I want you to do, I'm giving you your homework assignment. I want you to journal. I'm big on journaling, especially about expressing your feelings and getting them out on paper. You can have all of the thoughts in your head, but if you don't get it out on paper, it becomes just thoughts in your head. And what we know about our mind and in our head is that the enemy will come in and literally set up a war zone in your head, because that's where the battlefield happens. And so it's important for you to write down your thoughts. And so what I would ask that you do is I would ask that you journal what fuels you versus drains you. What fuels you? What motivates you? What drains you when you're not being respected, when it's not being reciprocated? And you may say, Natasha Paris, I have a parent that has Alzheimer's and I'm overgiving and she can't give. Well, that's understandable. But have you thought about getting some help? Had you thought about looking into a nurse coming out to the house and you taking out time for you? Getting us a massage, doing a spa day, doing something that you enjoy. Okay. So journaling about what fuels you versus what drains you. And then I also want you to begin to practice small acts of self-care before extending yourself to others. Okay. Well, let me say this. I do it every day. Well, when I am providing therapy for my clients, right? So usually that's about 6 days a week. And before I speak to a client, before I coach someone, I make sure that I have done what I needed to do for me. Because how can I pour into someone spiritually, emotionally, mentally, when I myself don't have anything within my cup? So I have to make sure that my cup is full. And what does that look like? I get up in the morning and I pray and I meditate and I stretch and I go and I work out. I do all of this in the morning because I know that by 10 o'clock, my first client arrives and I have to make sure that I am in a good place, in a very good place, that I'm well stretched. I've prayed, I've meditated, I read my word, and I am ready for the day versus doing all of the other stuff first and then taking care of me later. By then, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and I'm probably irritable. So I want you to every day, or at least 3 times a day, start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. I want you to practice small acts of self-care before you extend yourself to others. I need you to do this. Do not pick up your phone like we talked about on the last few episodes and scroll through your phone first thing in the morning. That is not helping you. That is not pouring into you, right? It is disrupting your mood. The first 20 to 25 minutes when you wake up, the brain is extremely present and active. And the conscious and conscious mind are doing some amazing things. So you want to make sure that you are pouring something that is going to replenish you, that's going to motivate you, and cause you to be so present for the person that you're providing support for. Okay? So those are the homework assignments. So as we close, I want you to take away some things. Right? I want you to really pay attention to romantic relationships and giving love while being independent. Like that is important, right? You have to understand just because you're in a relationship does not mean that you neglect your needs. When it comes to friendships, it's important to support your friends without enabling them. I need you to understand that. And then when it comes to family and parenting, parent with love, but also modeling self-respect. When we model self-respect, when we stand on the principle that it is me first, that is not a selfish thing, but it's me first, then I can take care of you, then you are now empowered to do some amazing and great things. So as we close, I want to remind you that loving others doesn't mean losing yourself. It does not mean neglecting your needs. In addition, love thrives when it comes from a place of wholeness, not depletion. It's important for you to be whole as opposed to you being 50%, 30%. No, that doesn't work. In addition, I want you to understand that in your life, it's important for you to love yourself so you can be a better lover to others. And why not take that chance on you? Bet on you. Take care of you. So, my friends, let's do a quick recap. What we know for sure is that loving others does not mean that you sacrifice yourself, right? It's important for you to set boundaries. It's important for you to understand what love looks like. More than anything else, it's important for you to take the step forward to making decisions differently, understanding that you can't give when you don't have. So it's important for you to start the day by giving so much to yourself. Then, of course, now you are overflowing with joy, peace, and love. And so with that said, I have already given you your homework assignments, and I want you to do them. Because remember, your healing, your journey is really about what you do when no one is looking. It's about you making time to journal, you making time to pray, to meditate, to exercise, to drink your water. It is doing those things that when you open up the door and let yourself out to the world, you are fully whole with a smile on your face. So with that said, as I always close, you know what I say. You should be saying it with me if you've been following me. And that is, I want you to be what? Empowered for greatness. Because without greatness, there's no you. And without you, there's absolutely no greatness. Thank you for being with me today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Bye.